Cyberpunk 2077 has this neat little trick that you can do. It's called looking into your best bud's computer and seeing what kind of naughty sites he's been on, aka quick hacking. Though I suppose browsing through search histories is slightly substandard. Thank God no one bothers digging through mine. They would be flabbergasted at what they find. And this is why you always use incognito. Complete safety isn't even achievable then, but at least you can halt any second-rate nerd who knows how to find the 3 buttons and click history. Okay, maybe you don't actually surf through search histories here. That's arguably more scary than half the quick hacks you do in this game. Quick hacks though, aren't they just charming? Normally when you think of the word hack, you'd think of gadgets like PCs or smartphones or vibrators becoming compromised to the point of no return. You want to know what else you can hack in this game? F***ing people themselves. Hell, it gets so bad that there's a quest to help out a dude named quote-unquote Flaming Crotch Man, and it's exactly what it sounds like. Cyber implants near the man's jingle bells, and we have to take him to the doctor because said jingle bells burst into flames. This is Cyberpunk, ladies and gentlemen. Let me have a go. Just a quick disclaimer, anything involving Johnny Silverhand's memories will not be included as he has no access to cyberware in the first place. A scrappy and crafty mentality is required for this challenge, so I went with the nomad lifestyle. A wise man once said, one can get no mad at the nomad. That wise man was me. I was listening to Skillet at the time and decided to make John Cooper's long-lost brother. Since quick hacks are the only form of lethal means I can use, maximizing intelligence and cool attributes was the priority and a point in strength because I had an extra point. I wish I had 2 more. A mechanic's job is supposed to help the customer with their vehicle. This maniac did absolutely nothing other than stare at a rusty and dusty engine. I hope he saves it as a good memory. Today I learned that small towns have sheriffs, this one's name Andrew Jones, whom I've never heard of. I wish he would stop trying so hard to become Andrew Lincoln. The character was great, but he wasn't an actual cop. If part of the job is kicking back and waiting with the gun in your hand for your partner, then I need to get into the business of smuggling more often. Today I also learned that Night City is located where the current town of Gorda, California is, at least according to this map. This man had scary eyes and knew we were doing some really illicit shit and called the cops. Quick hacking apparently isn't available yet, so I'm stuck waiting for the scary corporal police to drive away. I never made this correlation before, but Militech shooters received the exact same training as stormtroopers. No wonder an aura of familiarity emanated. Smuggling goods means smuggling iguanas, and I don't know about you, but I cannot ignore the immaculate detail on this creature. The art studio, I can confirm, really likes iguanas. Why is it more detailed than half the assets used in the entire game if it isn't? For once in my life, I don't actually dislike the first mission in the game, as I can now successfully put my set parameters to good use by opening a door. Okay, I pray to whatever god or deity out there that I won't be subjected to being a doorman for the rest of the playthrough. I immediately find my first target. He found me even though I was clearly and completely hidden behind the couch and my special voodoo powers went kaput. I realized that unless I want another situation where I have to wait 8+ minutes for good old Jackson to annihilate 5 enemies, I should probably reset. Take 2 was less interactive this time and I managed to off everybody in the process, except this last guy. Imagine this guy being Russell Wilson, while Jackie is the LA Rams. There's virtually no difference. This Sandra thing was corralled, stabbed, and delivered to henchmen, all for money. Jackie wanted to take me out on a date afterwards. I refused profusely, and Jackie.exe stopped working, crashing my game. My yearly doctor appointment was the very next day. I got a nice tattoo on my hand that didn't hurt whatsoever, and a brand new eyeball because I wanted 2010 vision. I do wish I could go back to the year 2010 with my current knowledge. I would win the lottery, start this YouTube channel way before I did, and invest in Bitcoin, Tesla, and Amazon. I found Dexter Deshawn in his car, smoking a cigar, and he laid down the plan to get filthy rich. One of these pieces was to find Meredith Stout. She gave me a cred chip after knocking me out as a way to show her secret love for me. Meeting up with Jackson once more, it was discovered that at some point between our last meeting and now, he gained intangibility. He could walk through walls, disappear, and fly, and was much more unique than the other guy. Oh wait, sorry, this isn't a theme song. Inside that building, things went terribly wrong. We may have said some things and, well, bullets started flying everywhere. One of the abilities I can buy is called Biosynergy, which allows our RAM to recover during combat. Although I only upgraded it to level 1, meaning we only got 4 RAM per minute. And Short Circuit requires 4 RAM to use, So I sat in my safe hidey hole like a gopher and watched annihilation commence in front of me until Dum Dum, who I'm pretty sure wanted some gum gum, fell to the floor. Seeing as this was a disastrous idea, I upgraded Biosynergy to level 2 so I could defeat more than one enemy every 60 seconds. A lifesaver I discovered was in the form of Breach Protocol, where when completed lowers the amount of RAM required to use any quick hacks. Some dick named Brick was inevitably going to turn into ground beef should I not turn off the fancy laser pointer. I didn't feel like an anarchist this time, and saved his life. Plowing through the rest of the rooms was less of a challenge and more of a hindrance and a waste of time. A lot of bodies were left behind in that building. It's not murder if they deserve to die. I mean, they shot first, I didn't shoot at all, but I was the winner. In more ways than one, I had my life and the flathead robot. One last meeting to discuss finer details, and we were on our way to Cammie Plaza. The plan was simple: secure a biochip from the penthouse suite and get the f*** out of there. We secured the biochip. We did not get the f*** out of there fast enough. It's not every day, though, that you get to witness the assassination of only the most important person in the entire world, let alone by his own son. I now know that I am already a better son. I may not be as successful, wealthy, and Japanese, but I have a better fashion sense than Yorinobu. Oh yeah, and my father is still alive and kicking. If my count is correct, which it probably isn't, math is hard, 24 enemies separated myself and Delamain's vehicle, so it was roughly 12 minutes of recharging my RAM to eliminate everyone. Everybody had to go. There had to be no witnesses. They would track us down and kill us since no one knew better. I probably would have off Saburo Arasaka if I had the chance anyway, but good old Yori beat me to it. Some drones began pursuing us after we entered our escape vehicle. I didn't think much of it the first go around. I short-circuited the miniature drone and began working on the big one. We drove into an underpass and the combat machine fired a missile in our direction, flatlining us instantly. Suddenly, I realized we were on a time limit. I upgraded RAM to level 3 to recover 12 units per minute, but it was still going to be cut very close. I give it another try and I managed to dismantle both smaller drones and the giant one down to roughly 40% before flatlining. Several more tries came and went. I figured this was the end. I simply did not have enough time to take out this octant. But I am obstinate. That means stubborn. Reading a dictionary once in a while is actually underrated. And I persisted with it. All three needed to go. However, the small one on the left eventually crashes automatically, which means I can completely ignore it. But I have to utilize my quick hacks as soon as they become available. Overheat and short circuit were my two best friends here, as it takes 5 hacks plus an extra to take down the 2 units. I had roughly 80 seconds to garner enough RAM to take down the octants. Even a second wasted meant a flatline. It took some effort and about 15 minutes of redos, but I managed to pull through. We can finally proceed. I will never personally get over what happened to Jackie. We did this for Keanu, but I'm not even sure Keanu was worth the life of Jackie. I died thanks to Poindexter, woke up in a landfill, Poindexter died thanks to somebody else, and we're sitting shotgun in a very nice shiny red convertible. Even in a weakened state, I'm still able to use my quick hacks for this segment. A weakened video game protagonist is still stronger than multi-year trained veteran combat agents from the wealthiest company in the entire world. That sounds just about right. Going through this conversation with Takamura bored me, as it's been repeated several times at this point, so I played Pokemon Go in the meantime. I caught some Machop, as it was Machop Community Day. I begged Judy for some help for some reason I don't really remember, and it ultimately led to this guy. Miraculously, he engaged in combat with me not 1 time, not 2 times, not 4 times, but 3 times. A quarter of a dozen times I managed to make him angry. I think that may be a new record. I walked out of an elevator not long after that, to V starting to spasm out and get a massive headache. The pain became so bad that V.exe stopped working, crashing my game. Oswaldo, that bald guy from earlier, in case you forgot, I almost did, he led me to some second-rate mechanic named Fingers. I pray he doesn't touch me with them. My demands were more important than welding a girl's face back on, and when he didn't completely comply with my every demand the first time around, I punched him right in the face. This technically breaks my rules, but is completely optional to begin with. Every single challenge I do in Cyberpunk will result in me, at some point, punching this guy in the face, as I get a good laugh out of it, so just accept it if you find any other challenges revolving this game from me. V and Co are coming to the rescue once more to save yet another female locked away in a basement somewhere. This random building for some reason had a lot of dudes with guns. The guns inevitably fell to the floor. The cameras were also turned off because I have better shit to do than answer useless questions for an investigation later. I will never understand the entire philosophy of plugging a giant wire into your own head. If I really desired a virus in my system, I would click the link telling me that I want a free iPhone 12 and to give my email and phone number to claim it. Oh yeah, we saved the girl in the end, by the way. Is it just me, or is that suit that Oda is wearing looks severely uncomfortable? I'm getting off topic, although I've probably done that like a handful of times already. The fact that you've made it this far is groundbreaking in and of itself. myself. After that awkward meeting with the man who only has 3 letters in his last name, I called my bike over to go right off into the sunset. I got on, started driving, but the world around me froze to a standstill when I hit 40 miles an hour. The game couldn't handle the pain of Jackie being gone and me using his ride as a result. Bike.exe stopped working, crashing my game. The meet with Placide, yes, I said his name correct this time, was short, not sweet, and a little intrusive. The power walk this man takes is even meaner than Takamura's. It was a decent length as well. You see what I mean when I said this visit was a little intrusive? I was lying. It was very intrusive. This job I got to do here is simple. Create chaos, kill literally everybody using my quick hacks, and find a van. I did all 3 in less than 20 minutes, though I decided it would be wise to avoid the mean Sasquatch. Don't exactly desire to tumble with bosses at the moment. I decided to trust the net watch agent because I like making alternate decisions when playing video games and got to punch Placide in the face once more, this time in self-defense, so I was justified. The amalgamation of the blue projector screen and giant pin board made its presence known, and some Johnny shit happened. When I awoke, stage 9 catastrophe apparently went down when I was dreaming about having a fun night with Alt, and the Voodoo Boys weren't exactly happy with their "Are you smarter than a 5th grader" teachers collapsing. Takamura finally managed to call back after I left him 23 voicemails asking if he was done yet. He wasn't, but only because he needed the assistance of a video game protagonist, so completely understandable. Apparently this stuff we're eating is called yakitori, though because I'm American and I don't exactly know what yakitori is, I pretend they're just meatballs. After our funny meal came some reconnaissance and bonding time. The recon was for some large building that Arasaka owned. It doesn't even really matter. What mattered was the cat that was perched up there. It's an international travesty that we can't pet that cat. Stranger danger arrived, and our goal was to mutilate every single Arasaka agent guarding this warehouse. I had planned to do it all from the shadows, but everyone went Alex Mercer gung-ho on me with their enhanced hearing. Because of my limitations on RAM recovery, entering safely inside the warehouse took damn near 15 minutes. Once inside, a few more dudes with guns littered around that were easily disposed of thanks to overheat, short circuit, and synapse burnout. We hacked a flow because of the plan and yeeted out of there back to safety. I somehow didn't manage to acquire footage of this next piece, but Takamura just did not want to call me back for some reason. I even went so far as to fast forward 2 entire f***ing months in hopes that he would ring so I could pick up the phone. Alas, it wasn't meant to be. For now. I decided to go to the afterlife to drink away all of my problems. Rogue was sitting in a private cubbyhole and had info that I desired. I paid an exorbitant price for it and had to wait an entire day for it to arrive. I ended up just sitting in a chair for 24 hours straight, never taking my eyes off my phone once, begging for Takamura to call me. He never did. Rogue sent me to go find Pan Am so that we can find a man with Hell in his name. She needed to get her truck and cargo back first apparently, because video games require you to do a ton of hard work in order to progress to gain little. Getting her truck back was a walk in the park, or I guess a walk in the desert. I cooked every single biocomponent inside the bodies of the various Raph and Shiv entourage. All well done. Pan Am was hell-bent on mercilessly executing every single person who ever did her wrong in life. Me thinks she was going through that time of the month, though I don't have the guts to ask. After going above and beyond my initial workload, it was time to nab the Burning Man. Pan Am brute forcing this mission by using a rocket launcher to take down an AV is why she will forever be best girl. What initially scared me and why I hesitated to start this mission in the first place was the automated turret atop Pan Am's truck. Even though I'm still in control of V, there was no confirmation that quick hacking was going to be a factor. My fears were for naught, however, as I still possessed access to my short circuit quick hack and never fired a shot from the automated turret. Best Girl got shot by Kangtown drones, which means V's vengeance is at an all-time high. I neutralized every single bot near the downed AV, saved Mitch, who is a friend of Pan Am's, and blazed through the desert in search of our attackers. I found them. They died. I moved on. I found some more. They died. I moved on. I found even more. They all died. Even I died at one point. I moved in. Found an old guy. He relayed info. We found Hell Guy. Pan Am pawned me a bike. And Takamura arrived at a motel after I rang him 31 more times. If I had known the catalyst for Takamura to finally call me back was to clep some engineer for what I believe is a Chinese company, I would have taken the same route to get there because Pan Am is best girl. As we're discussing the plan for the parade, I begin walking through a crowd. He begins telling me that I need to reach some snipers before he cut off. The anxiety of this mission just got too much for him, and Takamura.exe stopped working, crashing my game. All 3 snipers were dealt with, myself breaking stealth more than once, and it was time to pull another giant wire out of a female's head. A certain somebody didn't like that and tried to slice and dice me with knockoff lightsabers. This right here is technically our first boss of the run, and to prove that I never damaged him with bullets or even melee attacks, I sped up the gameplay so that the entire fight is seen on video. It actually took just over 10 minutes to bring down Oda, as waiting for the RAM recovery is a real and added time on top of the fight because the little coward loved to run away and heal at the most inopportune time for me. Oda was hyper aggressive in his assault for some reason. In my opinion, I did no such wrong anywhere here. He had zero proof that I offed the snipers and whatever backup was around, and I sure as shit was never going to admit it. This is America. I plead the fifth. It took some effort and Oda was a real challenge, but because I'm a gamer, I hoard up tons upon tons of health restoration items. I defeated Oda with just quick hacks. Takamura ended up kidnapping the Princess of Arasaka because this is such a great way to go incognito. In the end, I can't leave my homie Takamura behind. It was in this mission though that I realized something. Sometimes it's better to run through gunfire and take bullet damage than sit behind a computer screen. Other than getting rid of a few soldiers and witnessing Takamura transcend the realm of gravity once again, we got out of there mostly in one piece. For some reason, Wakako Okada decided to give me a call. Before she said anything remotely of interest, she just stopped talking. I think the fear of me judging her for being an old hag caused her to shrivel up. Okada.exe stopped working, crashing my game. It was all worth it in the end though. She never called me back, and V got a hot date with Rogue. Seeing as though our condition is getting worse, it's time we make the ultimate decision. How do we go about going further? The date with Rogue wasn't for nothing, as storming Arasaka Tower has always been a fantasy of mine. It took a guild trip and a called-in flavor, but we got her on board to storm the HQ. The fight to get to Mikoshi was about what you'd expect. Few guards here and there that make it look like Arasaka is a bear not to be poked. I not only poked the bear, I shoved the damn stake right through its neck. In return, the Smasher of Atoms comes bursting onto the scenes and pokes Rogue right through her chest. All that she was worth was about 20% of his overall HP. It was a sad experience, for all of about 10 seconds. I realized after that 10 seconds that once the final mission is over, the game does its black magic and turns the clock back 2 days before anything truly terrible happened. The fight with Atom Smasher was about the same as with Oda, only a lot more bullets flew. Luckily not from me. Somehow one short circuit did 20% damage to his overall health. Unfortunately, that was the only time that actually happened. The fight itself lasted just shy of 6 minutes. Did I mention that I had second-rate backup along with me, and that he took the very last shot on the Smasher? Man stole my kill. I suppose I shouldn't be too upset, as that very last overheat I bestowed melted Adam down into something akin to the Flint, Michigan water situation. We stumbled around to pick up Rogue's gun because that is the most important thing to do. Optional side quests should always be finished before you complete the game. The walk over to Mikoshi was just beyond that door. What normally would have taken 10 seconds took what felt like 10 decades. I just fought the last boss in the game and healed myself to full HP. I do not understand why we're stumbling around like a drunk man coming out of the bar at 2 AM. V beat me up for some reason even though I was going to give his body back, only to immediately back off and calm down. V has bipolar confirmed. We walked across the bridge, a type skip commenced, I woke up all alone in my bed, and did some space later that day, and I beat Cyberpunk 2077 using only quick hacks. If you enjoyed this video or learned something, consider leaving it a like, or if you didn't learn anything or didn't enjoy it, leave it a dislike, and if you haven't already, and you like what you see on the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it. It's free, and you could always change your mind if you want. Have a good one. Peace out.